Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are in the Mortgage Syndicate Club this morning. This is Pill Method, how to pay off your mortgage and all your other debt in about 7 years. But today we're going to be talking about something special. Something special today is, should we buy down the rate? Interest rates just went over 7%. Can you imagine that? A 7% interest rate. And we're going to talk about that today. Now, if you want to catch the lead up to this, Friday we talked about how to make a 7% interest rate work for you. If you can afford the payment, a 7% interest rate can certainly work for you. In fact, we showed how a 7% interest rate can actually work better for you than the 5% interest rate. Now, why is that? And I want to go over that right now. Okay. So if you can get that interest rate, if you can get into that house and you can afford that payment at 7%, what the experts are telling you right now, okay, is get the 7%, but when the interest rates get better, meaning when they drop, then you can refinance out of it and get that 5% or 5.9 or 5.8 refinance to get that. Let me tell you something. By doing that, to refinance just to get the lower interest rate, you are actually putting yourself in a worse financial position when you do that. All right. So you want to make sure that what you're doing is going to solve the real problem. How much does it cost to borrow the money? It is not a foregone conclusion that when you refinance to a lower rate, overall, you're going to spend less money on interest, especially if you employ the information from the P.I.L.L method to cut your interest costs. Okay, so you want to be able to cut your interest costs and save money overall. And it is easier to do that at the 7% rate than it is at the 5% rate. Oh my goodness. And you want to watch Friday's program for that. But today, leading into that, this leads up to this, that same show, after that show, somebody called me. They were actually asked to call me by someone who is very familiar with our situation, with how the P.I.L.L method works. And because of that, they had opportunity to buy down their rate, to get a better interest rate, So they did. And so that but before they were able to sign the loan, somebody who was acting as a friend said, you need to call Don Daniel and the P.I.L.L method first and see if this is going to be a good idea. And at the end of that phone call, these folks decided that they're going to call the bank on Monday. Said, you know what? We don't want this loan. It's really not going to work out in our favor. And I'm going to show you the numbers. Miss Dawn, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, Dawn, did you just call my name?
I most certainly did. How are you doing?
All right, good morning. How are you? I'm doing well.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm glad you're here this morning. And today we're going to be talking about buying down the rate. I mean, that's a popular thing these days.
It is. And I can't wait for you to show the example.
Oh my goodness, folks, we have 7 shares. Kim, let's go ahead and start sharing. I'm even going to share my own room. So I'm going to share it on Clubhouse. All right. And let's see, we're going to hit that share button and put some emojis in there. So we're going to be giving out the game today so that people can know the reason why we exist, folks, is to tell the truth about these loans. For 88 years, lending has been done this way. And there's virtually no education on how a mortgage or other loans actually work and what you can do to actually save money. But keep this in mind. Okay. You want to write this down. If the bank is offering you a way to save money, then if you're saving money, who would have to be losing it? Think about it. If you're saving money by doing this thing that the bank is offering you, then who would have to be losing it? And go ahead and put your answer in the chat. Go ahead and put your answer in the comment section if you're watching us online. All right. Who would have to be losing it? So go ahead and put it in there. If you're saving money, there you go. And in capital letters, the bank. The bank. If you're saving money, then the bank would have to be losing money. That's correct. So tell me this, why would a bank put themselves in a position to lose money? They're not. I'm going to show you how the bank is actually making money when we do this thing. Okay. Look, at somebody, a Facebook user said, oh, snap. I'm in Clubhouse and on Facebook with the man. Because you came in that way, you have to give Facebook, whoever said that, you have to give Facebook permission to use your name. Otherwise, you just come across as Facebook user. So you got to give them. Oh, Jeremy, look at you, man. Okay, it's Jeremy. Right here in Huntsville, Alabama with me. Listen, I'm here right here in Huntsville, everybody, and we're having a good time today. So if you, would you please tell us where you're from? Go ahead, put it in the chat, put it in the comment section. If you want to see us online as well, to see the examples I'm getting ready to put up, you can go to my 10K card, which is above ice10k.com, ice10k.com. You can put that in, and then you'll see the button that says watch us live. Okay. And then you can choose whichever way you want to watch us live. There's 4 platforms. There's Twitter, there is Facebook, there's YouTube, and LinkedIn. Or you can go to one of those 4, if one of those is your favorite, and then search P.I.L.L method, and then you can click on our live and watch us live. You want to see what we're getting ready to put up. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask the moderators that we have on stage to introduce themselves and what they do. All right. So Miss Kelly, come on up. Jeremy, listen, man, I'm sorry. I didn't see your hand. Let me bring Jeremy up. Miss Kelly, while I'm bringing Jeremy up, would you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. I'm Kelly Russell. I'm the owner of Self Care Holistic, which is a e-commerce brand with retail locations and warehouses in Wilmington, Delaware. I also help other business owners scale their businesses by getting them structured to obtain vendor credit to help them do the same. I'm definitely a supporter of Don and the P.I.L.L method, and just here to learn about this very confusing process that he makes so simple and add value where I can. Thanks for having me.
Kelly, I remember one thing you said that stuck out to me. It really has nothing to do with this. You said, everybody on Clubhouse is a millionaire until it comes time to pay for something.
You remember me saying that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I should get the t-shirt. Speaking of t-shirts, don't forget I got a bunch of your stuff over here still.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait till you start spreading it out again.
Listen.
Yeah, it is true.
Thank you so very much for that. Okay, Jeremy, we're going to let the ladies go first. Miss Dawn, how are you doing this morning? And if you are available, will you please introduce yourself and tell the folks what it is that you do?
Yeah. Hey, good morning. My name is Dawn Robinson, the Money PhD, single mom turned millionaire by age 44, own several properties. And so that's my highlight reel, but I did not achieve that without making several money mistakes. I found myself in $140,000 worth of consumer debt with a bad boss and could not afford to quit. I always say I wanted to tell her she was number one with a different finger. And so was able to eliminate or pay off that $140,000 in 17 months. Now I am on a mission to help other professional women over 40 take control of their finances because they're secretly struggling to find the money to save, pay off debt, and invest. And so what I do via group coaching and one-on-one is help you find where to start so you can start late, and finish rich. I always believe that you are not financially free until work becomes optional. So that's what I do. And thanks for having me, Dawn.
Yeah, but that's not
What
enough.
about professional men over 40? Are you just going to leave us out, Dawn? Or are you going to help us too?
Number
We
one
need
with
help.
a different finger took me out.
No, usually for some reason, my primary market is women. I'm not quite sure, but if there's a guy, I don't turn it down. Good question, Anthony, for putting me on the spot.
Have mercy. Okay, listen, folks. This is what you're in for today. All right, we're going to have some spice that goes along with it. So, Dawn, before we move on, how can the folks get a hold of you, and how can they get more information about what you do?
Yeah, if they could just send me a DM, that way we can schedule a call and have a conversation. Because most people, right, they think they want to do it, but they're not really prepared. And so I want only people that are really ready to make a change, right? The cool thing is, I have a W-2. So their yes or their no is for them, not me. But DM me if you're interested. DM me the word start so we can figure out how to get you started on this simple path to wealth. Thank you for asking, Dawn.
Not a problem. Credit goddess, Rosalora Lewis, please introduce yourself and tell the folks what you do. Okay. Did I catch her? What?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Hey everyone, happy Sunday. My name is Rosalora Lewis, also known as Credit Goddess. I'm all things credit. I'm a credit score improvement strategist. So not only do I help my clients repair their credit, but through education, I help them optimize and improve their credit so that way they can gain access to other people's money. I'm also a business credit coach, an educator at Free University, and a NAV loan broker. Like I said, I'm all things credit. Creditors love working with me because I know exactly what your profile needs to look like so we can get approved and never denied. If any of you guys are interested in my services, you guys can tap on my face or my picture and the numbers in my bio where you can send your name and email address to, so that way we can do a consultation. I prefer that I take a look at your credit profile to see whether or not you need credit repair or you need credit building or both. That is the two things that you need to do to improve your credit, not just repair. So definitely tap in with me. Thank you, Don.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. And folks, my name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method, and I want to introduce a couple of more people. And Anthony, would you please tell the folks who you are and what you do, please?
My pleasure, Don. Don, thank you for having me in your room. It's an amazing room as per usual. I'm Anthony Edwards. I'm a real estate investor based in Atlanta. I'm also a short-term rental operator. I really like the short-term business model. I'm more of a buy and hold guy, so I tend to prefer to have units that I own as opposed to the arbitrage method. Both of them work, but I'm more of a owner type of guy. In addition to all of that, I happen to be a travel nurse. I'm currently in assignment in Brooklyn, New York, my old hometown, and that's a little bit about me.
Okay, so you and Dawn would get along very well because you're keeping your W-2 while you're making that extra money. So I mean, so Dawn doesn't want to give up her W-2. And listen, quiet as it's kept, I did a little research. Travel nurses are making bank. You don't have to tell us what you make, but my goodness, and you got that, and you got that thing going on.
Yes, we know where the money resides. We know where the money resides.
You guys are killing me, boy.
Lord have mercy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you guys are killing me. I will. Yeah, we are handsomely compensated, particularly since post COVID. Thank the Most High for that. Went through a lot dealing with that whole situation. But honestly, I love what I do, and I am at the point where I'm starting to wind down. But I anticipate like working at least 1 or 2 days a month, regardless. So that's the game plan, for me.
Wow. Work it, folks. What'd you say, Dawn?
I said, what I'm talking about. You're not financially free until work becomes optional. Did you hear Anthony? I'm 4 years out. Anthony said he's dropping down very quickly, and he going to 1 or 2 days a week. That's just to keep his license active. That's candy money for Anthony. That ain't no real. He ain't paying no bills when he go to 1 or 2.
Come on, man. I love it. I love it. And then we have the tiny home plug, Jeremy Winger, in here. Hey, Jeremy, I just wonder, does tiny homes mean tiny money?
Nah, not a bit. Man, oh, go ahead.
Listen, man, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Jeremy Winger here. I am the tiny home plug, but rather more so the affordable housing specialist, really digging into all things on all angles. If you have a concept, we can bring it from your imagination into reality. Being able to acquire the land, being able to do the renderings, help you with approvals, and the infrastructure all the way through to exit as well. So we're really stepping in to make sure that people have their bases covered. Both, and I'm based out of here in Huntsville, but we're working all across the United States and now internationally, which is just absolutely fantastic. So we're just changing lives one step at a time, and with business models from short-term rental, corporate housing, student housing, sober living, you name it.
Wow. Thank you so very much, everybody. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And for 16 years, we've been helping our clients save a ton of money in interest that they don't have to pay the bank. Now, we're not talking about controlling interest rates, okay? Interest rates are what they are, but we help you to control interest cost. You do not, and I repeat, you do not have to pay all of that interest. And if you're a buy and hold investor, then here's what's happening. We can help you get equity at a much lower interest cost. Then we're going to track your interest savings. And then when we're figuring out your profits, then you can actually put in, you know what? It cost me $75,000 less to get this equity than I would if I had done what the bank had asked me to do. Now, if you can get the same equity for $75 to $100, $150,000 less, whatever it is that it happens to be, you can now invest that money that you used to count as money that you had to spend to make money, and now you don't. You don't have to pay all of that interest as the cost of doing business anymore. Oh, wow, wow, wow. And if you want to know more about the introduction to this, I actually have a book that's been a 5-time bestseller on Amazon. And we're trying to get it to a 6-time bestseller. And that's only going to happen if you guys buy the book. So go ahead, buy the book today. Anybody who buys the book today and then sends me something on the back channel or Instagram, show me your receipt, I will make sure that you can get a 10K card like mine. That's $100 value. Buy the book and get a 10K card. Oh my goodness, you can't beat that for a deal. So folks, we're getting ready to get started here, but I have 11 shares. I've got 11 shares in the building. I got Mr. TM in the building. So we got to get him on the stage if he is available. I would love to have him a part of the conversation. And I'm telling you, if you are listening to morning shows, TM is fantastic in morning shows. I forget, what's the name of your morning show, TM? What's his morning show? With Glenn Lundy. Okay, with Glenn Lundy. All right. And so TM has I think he's on Tuesdays with Glenn Lundy. So you want to check out his segment with him. So let's see if we can get him to come up. Okay, moderators, let's see if we can get him to come up. I'm checking the stage here. We're still at 11 shares. Can I get up at least to 15 shares before we start this? Because today, we're going to be talking about, folks, should we buy down the rate? And where did this come from? It came from a phone call on Friday. Someone called on Friday with they were encouraged to call. They were getting ready to sign for a refinance. All right. So what we're going to do is share this information, put this on, and there we go, screen 2. So we're getting ready to put that on the screen this morning. So if there's anyone else in the house that wants to come to the stage to ask a question or make a comment, please do. But I want to pay special attention to the party hats. that I see in the audience. I see Emmanuel. Thank you very much for coming in. That means they've been on Clubhouse for less than a week and they're in this room. Please, folks, if you're new to the room, go ahead and join the Club Mortgage Syndicate. Touch the greenhouse at the top and join the club. Then if you want to join the P.I.L.L Method Club, then what you do is you also touch my bio, ICE, all right? Touch my bio, go all the way down and find P.I.L.L Method and join that club as well. So we've got the party hats in here. We got Emmanuel in here. Thank you, Emmanuel, for coming in. We've got Raul. We've got Derek. We've got Casey in here as new to Clubhouse. And so thank you very much for being new to Clubhouse and spending your time with the P.I.L.L Method in the Mortgage Syndicate Club. So folks, let me put something on the screen for you. If you want to see this, what we're putting on, if you want to see what we're doing, we're going live right now. I'm putting this example on the screen right now on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. You can click my 10K card up above your heads, click that link, go to the link, and then you'll also see a link there that says watch us live. Or you can go to one of those 4 platforms that I just mentioned and search P.I.L.L Method, and that will take you to our page, and then you'll see our live and click on the live. You want to see these examples right now. Interest rates have just gone to 7% and people are freaking out. Okay, they are freaking out, and because they are. Let me make TM a moderator. All right, because they see that the 7% is not the 3% that they were used to. That the 2.9 and the 2.8, and they think they've lost out because they can't get that 2% or 3% loan. Let me tell you something, folks. If the numbers work, if you can afford it, and you're still paying less in your mortgage payment or about the same as renting, I'm telling you right now, the rents are going to continue to go up. The rents are going to continue to go up. And here's what we're being told. Go ahead. If you're a real estate investor, go ahead and jump in. All right. And do all your due diligence on everything else, but don't let the interest rate keep you from getting in the game. If you are a residential home buyer and you can afford the payment, do not let the interest rate keep you from getting in the game. But here is what the experts are telling you to do. Date the rate, meaning get in at the 7%, but when interest rates get better, meaning get lower, then refinance to get the lower rate. And I showed on Friday, you don't have to do that. In fact, you put yourself in a worse financial position when you do. Now, folks, let's get in here. Before I get started, I want to go ahead and let TM introduce himself and then tell us about his segment in Glenn Lundy's room when he's going to be on. And I'm telling you, he is a powerful motivational speaker. TM, introduce yourself to the people.
Hey, good morning, my friend. Good morning, family. T.M. Hyman, America's favorite mentor. Man, I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn, man. Whenever I see you open up a room, I'm certainly popping in. I have a room called Leadership on Demand, coming up at 11 o'clock, where leaders gather. CEOs, mentors, coaches, consultants. That's pretty much the space that I'm maintenance. I help emerging leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, pretty much tweak processes, Don, in order to shift their mindset, increase their authority, and ultimately scale their business. Man, I lead leaders, been leading leaders for a long time, and so I like to pour into spaces and individuals who lead teams, man. I mean, leadership can often be a lonely place, right? So I create space for us to share best practices and talk openly without judgment. And so that's me, TM Hyman, Leadership on Demand, but I also support Breakfast of Champions. I open up the room every Tuesday morning at 5 a.m., where, it's the largest breakfast table that early in the morning here on Clubhouse. And so I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for bringing me up. I'm here to learn always.
Listen, folks, if you tap on his bio, you can see where his show is going to be coming up, and then you can actually RSVP so that you can get a notification when the show starts. All right, when his room starts. So TM, thank you very much for being in here, man, and we do appreciate you. So, folks, let's go ahead and we're going to jump in here right now. Again, if you're new to the room. If you're new to the room and you want to see this, you can see it on one of 4 platforms. You can go to Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn and see the example that we have online right now. Folks, we have right now in this room 53 people, 150 people have come through the room, and it's all because that you have shared this room. Continue to share it. If you've shared it already, please do it again. If you haven't shared the room, go down, take a look at that little box with the arrow pointing out of it. If you click on that, you can share this to other people in Clubhouse, or and share it out to your social media. Also, folks, if you are watching us online, you can share it too. And here's what I'd like for you to do. You can share, and depending on where you are, you can follow, you can like the videos, and you can comment. We love your comments. So, folks, let's go ahead and get started. We had a client call and says, listen, we're going to get a refinance at 5.9. They were okay with that. Okay. And their new payment was going to be $1,405.73. And so when we look at this thing, we're going to take a look and see how all of this works out. We have James Reed that just popped in, who said something to us. And we're going to take a look at what he has to say in just a minute. He's watching us on YouTube right now. And so we're borrowing $237,000 here, folks. All right. We're refinancing for $237,000. These folks are going to take some cash out, all right, and do some things that they want to do. And once they take a look at this loan, here's one thing that didn't really pay attention to. The bank wants them to pay $269,062.80 in interest on a $237,000 loan. And so, folks, if we round this thing off to 6, we round this thing off to 6%. Okay, 6%. We round it off to 6%. Does that look like 6% to you? That's $269,000. Is that 6% of 237,000? Of course not. It's actually more in interest than the principal borrowed. So when you take a look at this, total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 113.529%. And it's legal. It's legal to do this. Over 30 years, pay that much interest. I'm letting you know today, you do not have to pay all of that interest, and you don't have to sacrifice lifestyle to not pay all that interest. And more importantly, if you're a real estate investor, you don't have to use a dime of the monies that you've earmarked for reinvesting to save that interest. You can invest, save interest, all at the same time, and increase your profitability because you're not paying interest. So let's see what happened here. So when we're taking a look at this, I want you guys to pay attention. I want you guys to pay attention on the background here, on how easy it is not to pay this interest. All right. I want you to see this. And then we're going to go in and I'm going to show what they did. They paid $11,000 of their money to get a lower interest rate. And I'm going to show you what happens when they did that. But watch this. We have a payment of $240.48 going to principal. If you're seeing this for the first time, I'm teaching you now how to read an amortization schedule and showing you how easy it is not to pay the interest. This is not my program, though. My program will help you to choose the right amount of money in the right month on the right day of the month to maximize your interest savings for you. But here's some basics, okay? So when we're paying $240 towards the principal, that is your mortgage payment. What? Yeah, the $240 part. That's your mortgage payment. The $1,165.25 in interest, yeah, that's not mortgage payment because you didn't borrow that. The $240 you're paying back on what you borrowed. The $1,165.25 is rent on your money. We go from renting the house to renting the money our entire lives. And we don't have to rent the money forever. So folks, I'm going to show you how to pay less rent on your mortgage. Let's see. I can't show you how to pay less rent on if you're renting the house because rents are continually going up. I'm going to show you how to drive the rent down on renting money. What do you guys say about that? Okay. Dawn, what do you mean? What are you trying to say here?
I know that's where the magic happens, right? We always talk about picking up these properties and owning all of this stuff, and you end up just having a whole bunch of debt, but no real equity or wealth. And it's not until you crack the code on this thing that you really have the money in your pocket. What's that commercial says? That's where the money resides. That's where the money resides.
That's where the money resides. So folks, watch this. If I make this mortgage payment in January, my full mortgage payment here, okay, in January, you see the February principal payment is $241.66. So my question would be, if I make my payment in January, do I have to wait till February to give the bank this $241.66? The answer is no. If you have it, and if you want to, you can give the bank that $241 early. You can give it to them in January as well. I make my January payment on time, and I look at this principal payment of $241.66. I can give that to the bank as well in January. If I do, then all of this money, $241.66, goes to principal. And before somebody puts it in the chat, yes, there are times when you have to inform the bank that you want this money to go to the principal. If you are escrowing your payment, meaning your taxes and insurance is part of your mortgage payment, then you do have to tell the bank, please don't apply that to my escrow account. Put that on principal. It is a fallacy that you can put it on the interest. There's no way that can happen. You can only put it on the principal, or you put that money in escrow, but you can't put it on. They can't make a mistake and apply it to the interest. Your mortgage doesn't work that way. Okay. So now let's just say we make our payment and we apply the $241.66 early. Guess what? You are on line 2 of this amortization schedule because all $241.66 gets applied to principal. What just happened? If we do that, we just wiped out line 2 of the amortization schedule for $241.66. You just turned your 360-month payment schedule into 359 monthly payments with just $241.66. Boom. Your next mortgage payment for February is actually on line 3 of the schedule, where $242.85 goes to principal and $1,162.88 goes to interest. Here is the big reveal. What happened to the $1,164.07 in interest on line 2 since we eliminated line 2 with just $241.66? You got it. The 1164 has been canceled. You never have to pay that. Remember that big number that we talked about, the amount of interest that this couple would have to pay? They don't have to pay. They've just reduced their overall interest cost by $1,164.07. Let me give you, can I give you a little bit more food for thought? I got 21 shares in here and I just went to 22. Can I give you a little bit more food for thought here? All right. If you want to see something more powerful than I just showed you, put a number 9 in the chat. If you want to see something more powerful than this, put a number 9 in the chat and I will show you something that's going to make your head spin. All right. All right. Somebody said, listen, they went all the way to 10. Okay, Marcos. He said, listen, I'm not stopping at 9. We're going to go to 10. All right, folks. Here's what we're doing. Oh, man. Jonathan Jones. Crystal is in here. Crystal, what are you doing in the audience? Please bring Crystal up on the stage. Come on. So, listen, I'm trying to watch everything and I can't. Let's bring Crystal up. All right, Crystal, good morning to you. How are you doing? And I got to thank Crystal for this because she actually encouraged this couple to call me, and they called and got this information. Thank you so much, Crystal. How are you doing this morning?
You are so welcome, Mr. Dunn. Good morning. I am well, thank you. I'm so glad they called. They texted me and told me they called you. So they are really excited to be working with you, and I really appreciate you doing what you're doing for them.
All right, go ahead and tell us what you're doing, and then I'm going to get back into this because what Crystal saw, because Crystal's been in my room, she's seen me live and virtually, but it's that information, and then she was being a friend to these folks, okay, being a friend to them, and said, you know, folks, you probably need to talk to Don about what you're getting ready to do and see if you want to make that decision. So, Crystal, come on and tell us what you do and who you are.
Good morning, everyone. I am an independent escrow officer here in the state of Texas. I also am a signing agent. So I really, since I'm independent, I help a lot of title companies that are short staffed. A lot of them just did mass layoffs because of the interest rates going up and business declining. And so I've been extremely busy, even with the declining rates. I also own a consulting firm with a marketing agency as well as a luxury travel company. But what Mr. Don is referring to specifically, of course, ties to my escrow business. And I was sitting with a couple actually for the second time last week. We met last Monday. They didn't like the terms of their loan. They had a lot of reservations once they were looking at their closing disclosure. And I actually took the time to explain it to them because they saw it online, but really didn't understand what they were looking at. And I just advised them that they needed to speak with him. I knew what they wanted to do, but at the cost, they just weren't happy with that. And so I literally called him while we were sitting in our meeting Friday when we met again. And he was so kind to pick up the phone and actually take a little over 30 minutes just to talk with them and make himself available to meet with them later where he could show them these numbers. And they text me. They were so thankful multiple times. And I was really thankful to him because I could tell, you know, they really wanted to do this. They needed to do the refinancing, but at what it was going to cost them just due to some factors in their personal situation was going to be too much. But I said, I know someone who can really help you with this, even at the higher interest rate. So he got on the phone with them, and now I don't know what all he's told you this morning, but I mean, it's just been amazing in a few days how much their perspective on this loan has taken. So thank you again for sharing, Mr. Don, and thank you for giving me a moment to share the background of that story.
Certainly. So, folks, to protect anonymity, we're not going to use the couple's names, and we're not going to use the exact numbers either. But the process is still going to be the same. Okay, so these aren't the exact numbers. All right, because we want to protect people's private information always. But watch this. All right, and I said I want to show you something more powerful. Do you see that on the screen? If you're new to the room and you want to see this, go to my ice10k.com, my link at the top, and you will see 4 different places where you can watch us live, or you can go straight to YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, or Facebook and search P.I.L.L Method, and then you can watch us online right now. So watch this. I'm pointing at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. This is really important to see because in 1 year, you can actually add up. This adds up for you all the principal payments for a year right there, $2,965.07. It'll also add up all the interest payments for 1 year, $13,903.69. Why am I giving you this background? This is very important to what we're getting ready to go to. All right. Now, here is the thing. This can be considered potential equity, the $2,965.07. The equity has to do with what the house is worth and how much you owe. Okay. And if they owe less than the house is worth, that the difference is called equity. Now, if that is the case, which in this case it is, by paying this mortgage for a year, they've just created more equity by $2,965.07 because they paid the house down. But guess what? Here's what a lot of homeowners or home buyers and real estate investors don't pay attention to. The $13,903.69 it cost to get the $2,900 in equity. We don't pay attention to that. Well, we do now because you're in this room. And that is the purpose for this room, is to point out the truth about lending. Why do we do what we do? So people can learn the truth. And you know what the Bible says, when you have the truth, the truth will set you free, folks. So we want you to be financially free by knowing how these loans work and how you can borrow money at a discount. So watch this. So if I'm going to pay this, if I know how much I'm going to be paying on this loan to pay it back, the $2,965.07, here's my question. Do I have to pay this $2,900 in 12 monthly installments? Or if I have it available, I mean, just saying if I have $2,900 available, could I apply all $2,900 in 1 month, like month one, be paid down to line right here where I owe $234,034.93, the principal balance on line 12. Can I get paid down to line 12 in just 1 month by giving them the $2,965 early? Just put it on principal? The answer is yes. What would happen to all the interest costs between line 2 and line 12? You got it. They're canceled. Meaning I got the $2,900 in equity, not for $13,903.69, but for only $1,165.25.
That's amazing.
That's what we're talking about, folks. If you're gonna get the equity, why pay all the interest to get it? Now, I had to give you that background to show you what's happening with this loan. We're so focused on the payment and the interest rate that we can get bamboozled into doing something we think that's actually saving us money. Now I need you to focus in on this interest rate of 5.9. Do you see that? 5.9. Here is the payment. And here is the other mortgage. I'm putting same amount, 237,000, but we can get 5.575. Okay. We can either get 5.9, which is practically 6%, or we could get the 5.575, which costs to do that is going to cost them $11,000. Okay. So they're cashing out to do some things that they want to do. Okay. And now the bank has offered them, we can take $11,000 of your cash out and take that and you can buy down the rate, and you would have a smaller payment and it's going to save you money overall. And folks, here's the thing, and I need you to focus in on this thing right now. If you're sitting with a bank officer and they're telling you this, what they're telling you is absolutely true if you keep the loan for 30 years. They're giving you 30-year numbers. If you keep the loan for 30 years, you will pay less interest overall by buying down the rate if you keep it for 30 years. But you don't have to keep it for 30 years. The average P.I.L.L method client pays off all of their debt in 7 to 9 years. So here's my question. If they're supposed to pay $251,000 in interest over 30 years, if you pay the loan off sooner than that, do you have to pay all $251,000? The answer is no. Then if you're going to accelerate the loan, then all of the numbers that they're quoting you while you're sitting at the table and making up your mind on which loan configuration to get, they're giving you information on 30-year loans if you keep it for 360 payments. But who wants to do that? Nobody I know. Everybody I know that wants to get a mortgage doesn't want to pay it for 30 years. They want to get out early. Okay? They want to make more money if they're a real estate investor. If you're a real estate investor, you want to get your equity sooner so that you can take the cash out and buy more doors sooner and cheaper. So watch this. So now they're going to get $11,000. Now, listen, when you cash out this way and take 11,000 of your dollars and say, I want to buy down the rate, you lose practically all your choices on what to do if you're not using interest cancellation techniques. You're saying, I'm going to use $11,000 of my cash out to do this one thing, and then that's it. You don't have really many other choices at that point. So if you're doing that, then you have to take a look at how much the $11,000 actually cost you. Here's what these folks didn't know and what Crystal encouraged them to look at. I'm showing you the numbers right now. If they put $11,000 for the cash out, then they have to pay that $11,000 back. I'm going to show you what it cost. In the first year of paying back that $11,000 that they used to buy down the rate and get a better rate. Oh, wait a second. I think somebody just pointed out. Let's see what their actual benefit was. So we're going to take a look at the payment of, I'm going to put that on the screen. Their payment is $1,405, okay, 0.73. That is at the 5.9. Now, they paid $11,000 to get a lower interest rate and a lower payment and to save interest overall. So watch this. So we're going to bring it up, and their new payment is $1,356.83. So we're going to subtract 1,356.83. Okay, so they're going to save by using $11,000 of their money. They're saving $48.90 a month. Multiply that by 360 payments. It's going to save them $17,604 over 30 years. Did you write that down, folks? Over 30 years, if they keep the loan 30 years, just that one move alone will save them $17,604. Okay. And then we got to do a different, interest thing and to figure out what that is. But watch this. Let's go to the 5.575 loan. Okay. And now remember cumulative principal and cumulative interest. Remember, they have to pay back the first $11,000 that they paid of their money. And they chose to buy down the rate instead of maybe fixing on the house. They could have taken $11,000 and did a home improvement. They could have taken $11,000 and invested that money. They could have taken $11,000 and paid off some bills. They could have taken $11,000 and done a lot of things with that, but they chose to buy down the rate. Well, at least up to Friday they did. Watch this. By paying back the $11,000 this way, in 12 months, they would have only paid back $3,148.86 of that $11,000. And on an $11,000 loan, the bank would have already charged them $13,133.10. Oh my goodness. Who in the world, if your credit union called you and says, I want to lend you $3,000, but all I need you to do is pay it back in a year and I'm going to charge you $13,000 in interest, would you sign up for that loan? Absolutely. I'll put it in the chat. Would you sign up for that loan, for a $3,000 loan and pay $13,000 on it? Would you do that? Put it in the chat, please. Yes or no? Come on, somebody, anybody. Oh, Jackie said, no, nope. Nope. Listen, those notes are coming in faster than I can read them. And somebody said, hell no. Oops, excuse me. Okay, watch this. So now we're going to
speak French, Don. It's all good.
It's okay. Watch this, folks. Here's year two. $6,000 of the $11,000 paid back. $26,000 in interest. Year three, $9,997.17 paid back. Cost $38,000, almost $39,000 in interest on that. Okay, we finally pay back the $11,000. It takes 40 months to pay back the $11,000, and it's going to cost $43,000 to do it, which means to buy down this rate cost them $11,000 plus $43,000, folks. That is $54,000. Do you see that? Do y'all see that? Do you want to pay $54,000? 54 grand for the right to cut your interest, to cut your payment down by $50. Folks, buying down the rate. Now, listen, here's the other thing you want to do, because Dawn is going to bring this up. Because Dawn is all about, there's not one answer for everything. There are some people who need to get into a house, and because of their particular budget and trying to keep their mortgage payment within a particular framework so that we can afford everything we need to do, some people have to buy down the rate to keep their mortgage in that particular area, so they don't overspend on the budget that they've set aside for housing. Dawn, am I right about this? Am I right about it? You want to make sure that you don't overspend anywhere. And for some people, to have the house that they need to buy down the rate for that reason. There's something you can do about that, though, if you do buy down the rate. Now, folks, did you see this? Did you see what just happened here? By buying down the rate, in this case, they took $11,000 out, and they decided that they're going to buy down the rate. Now, watch this. We can go back to the original loan. Now, any of the moderators can jump in at any time. If you see something and you want to jump in, and because something hits you, bring it out now, because all you're going to do is help the people that are listening in. If you are in the audience and you have a question about what's going on, raise your hands and bring your question or comment. I see Marcos down there. Invite to speak. All right, put that through there and see if we can get Marcos to come up. Marcos, I see your hand up. I hope you can come up and talk to us. All right. And folks, and moderators, kind of scan the audience for me. We have now 67 people in here. And I'm trying to run all the screens here and watch the audience too. So, folks, do you see that? Do you see what just happened here? Does that make you sick? Miss Crystal, when you saw that, how did that make you feel? I mean, come on, really?
That was a big number. I mean, that's true. I see people buy the points all the time to lower the rate, but usually the most I see people pay is about half of that. So I've only seen a number that large one other time, but they brought their rate down significantly and for what they were doing. But what was interesting, he told me that when he asked about it, they told him that if he went with the higher rate, that would not result in them receiving the $11,000 to their amount they would be receiving out of the loan, that it would only result in $1,100. So I have to look into that because I have never had anybody in 5.5 years go back and say, no, we don't want to pay the points, just transfer the money to us. I don't know how that goes with the lenders. Have you ever had a situation where that happened and they received the full amount versus 10% of the amount?
Nope. Okay, because
it doesn't sound right to me either.
No, but see, so let me ask you: Did it feel as if somebody was taking advantage of somebody that didn't really fully understand the system?
Absolutely, and that's exactly why I got you involved. That's also why I suggested they go back and say, "Hey, we want to go with the higher rate. Just give us that amount." Because if they get that additional amount, that would actually satisfy everything that they are wanting to do versus just, about 70% of what they want to do. And then that would absolutely make it make sense for them with closing costs and everything associated with the loan. So yes, that absolutely made me angry when I saw that amount.
So, folks, here's a couple of things I need you to see. All right. At the lower interest rate, okay, now I'm going to show you at the higher interest rate, here's where the principal payment is. The very first principal payment is $240. Remember, we attack the loan with the principal payments. The second one is $241.66. I need you to see what happens when we slightly lower the interest rate. Watch the principal payments. They start out at $255 and $256. By lowering the interest rate payments, you actually increase the principal payment. By lowering the interest rate, you increase the principal payments, and then your money doesn't go as far as knocking out payments. I need to show you this one more time. We start out at $255 and $256 on the principal payments at the lower interest rate. Watch the higher interest rate. We're at $240, $241. Watch for the year. If I want to knock out a year's worth of payments at the higher interest rate, because I can fit more of these smaller payments into a certain amount of money, it comes to $29.65.07, and it knocks out 1 year's worth of payments and a ton of interest. And my next mortgage payment is actually on line 13 of my schedule for February. If I start in January, if I do this, watch this. When I lower the interest rate, watch my $29.65, about what $29.65 would do at the lower interest rate. We go 28. That's as close as I can come. It only knocks out 11 payments. So by lowering the interest rate, my money doesn't work as hard for me by lowering the interest rate. Guess who knows that? The people who own the bank. Guess who doesn't know this? The people who work at the bank. The loan officers don't know this. The loan officers truly believe that what they're offering is helpful because the loan officers, they treat their loans the exact same way. Why doesn't the bank train their loan officers to know what you're being taught right here today? Why doesn't the bank teach the loan officers this? Anybody got any ideas about that?
Because they're limited to specific products.
Doesn't benefit them.
What do you mean? I heard two comments. What does that mean to you? Whatever you just said? What does that mean?
They could be just limited and become their supervisors. They're just having them specifically focused on specific products. I'm over using specific way too many times in a sentence. But yeah, they're limited on their knowledge, and they don't know how to really get creative. So they only have a couple products they're probably using right now. They're going to try and make a triangle fit into or a star fit into a triangle shape.
Okay, so was that UTM that jumped in there?
Yeah, I mean, my comment was it doesn't benefit the bank. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they don't want to educate us on paying anything off sooner. It's about the relationship, right? In hopes that we will add products along the way, right? So, I mean, it's not smart for them to want to educate us, not in this fashion.
Thank you for that. So what we're hearing here, folks, is that if I offer you something that makes you think you're saving money, you will jump at it because no one wants to overpay for anything. So if you could offer me something, and by me couching it in 30-year terms, and I'm telling you the absolute truth about 30-year terms, then you will jump on this, but without knowing all of the truth. You will jump on that. But what we want to do at the P.I.L.L method is make sure you know everything that you need to know about this. We got two new people on the stage. We have Ozzy, who came up first. Ozzy, do you have a question or comment for us this morning? So go ahead.
Yes, I do. Thank you. I appreciate you all letting me come up. I'm kind of new to Clubhouse and just listening. This is actually very, very great information that you all are putting out. I hope you can hear me a little bit because I think you all went low, maybe because my battery is a little low on my phone. So I
We hear you great.
apologize.
We hear you great. Go ahead.
Okay, great. My son, I helped him because I know I have a nonprofit. I love building the youth up and making sure that they can learn skills and knowledge to help them move forward in life. So I have two sons. I have a 21-year-old that I was able to kind of help him build his credit with no credit within a year. I was also able to get him to um, help him get an apartment when he was 19 to also, let him learn how to be on his own and, do what he needs to do. Um, and also making sure that not to stay in an apartment because when I was young, no one kind of directed me into knowing that, oh, if you do these different steps, you'll be able to own your own home or maybe not collect so much debt.
Wow, Ozzy.
So I
Ozzy,
wanted to make sure that I tried to teach mine and others the best way to go about hopefully getting their own land, getting their own space,
Mhm.
and also
Ozzy,
increasing their future.
Ozzy, if I may say
So
so, Ozzy, if I may say so,
yes, sir.
if more parents did what you did, our children would be much better off. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
what you did. So what's your question?
I'm sorry. So my question is, now that I have him in a home, at 21, he has his own home. And I believe it is a 30-year loan. I don't have the lease or the mortgage information present, but you have so much information that you've already given that helps me maybe reduce his 30-year loan. So I wanted to thank you for that because that right there will help me give him just a little bit more information where his mortgage may be a little less every month. So I just wanted to just ask as well, with him being so young, what advice could you give me that would also help him reduce his 30-year loan at this time?
Wow. 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 That is a great question. And we thank you for being so concerned about financial education, even though your son is grown. But here's the thing. So education is going to be number one. All right. So we have 140 of these videos up on YouTube right now. How to pay off mortgages in 7 years. I would definitely take advantage of the education there. I have a book that gives you instruction. Well, it gives you introduction into what we call interest cancellation. It is the interest on these loans that makes it so expensive. So if you can learn how to cut the interest out, that will save you. The next thing is I have a website, and you can find that website by clicking on my link above, or going to ice10k.com. ICE stands for Interest Cancellation Expert, the number 10 and the letter K.com. Click on that, and you'll see another button that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. How would it be if your son could know by filling out that information the month, day, and year he could be debt free and how much interest he could save without sacrificing lifestyle? He could still live well and be out of debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. How would that be, Miss Ozzie?
That's powerful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I have been looking at your information for your ice10k.com. So great. Thank you so much. I
Well,
appreciate everyone on the stage.
wow, wow, Miss Ozzie, we love it when people come to the stage. And so, do you have any other questions or comments for us this morning?
No, I am complete at this time. I really appreciate you. And thank you so much.
Well, listen, stay on the
Thank you,
stage.
everyone.
If something else comes up, please chime in. All right. So we have Judah Princess. Come on, talk to us this morning. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I got into the room a little late, but I saw the topic and it was very interesting. So I guess I missed what you were saying because I heard the previous speaker just speaking about how you helped her out and gave her good information. So I'm actually online right now trying to figure it out. You were saying about reducing your interest.
Yes.
How is that possible to reduce the interest?
Not the interest rate, the interest cost.
Okay.
Okay, so now what we just went over was how people buy down the rate. Have you ever heard of that? People paying a little extra money to get a cheap to lower their interest rate.
Yes, buy down.
Okay,
Buy
so
points.
yeah, so what we're doing is showing how buying points in this case did not serve the person well.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going, since you're new and there are other people that may be new in the room, we have 72 people in here right now. All right, and I've got 33 shares. We should be at least at 50 shares. Please share the room so other people can come in and see what's going on. All right, so Miss Judah, you say you're watching this right now?
No, I just heard you say about your 10k.com, so I just went to that right now.
Okay.
And because like I said, I missed it, so I probably need a recap.
Right. So I'm going to recap this for you, but I actually have a chart that shows interest payments and interest. So how we save interest right online right now. We're live on Twitter, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So if you have another device and you want to watch that, you can and see what we're talking about here. Do you have the ability to do that today?
You have YouTube?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube right now. So you can go to YouTube and on another device and go to YouTube and search P.I.L.L Method, and you'll see our live. Okay, let me know when you have it, and I'll go over how easy it is not to pay that interest. But this is not our program. I'm just showing you how the bank makes their money and how we can disrupt their timing. Our program is much more involved, and it saves you a lot more in interest than you could ever save on your own. Okay, so yeah, go ahead And once that Grant Cardone has finished, okay, then you can skip the commercial and then turn down the volume. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, so now what we have here is I'm going to show you that we have 237,000, and I'm changing screens right now. You should be able to see that this is an interest rate of 5.9%. Are you seeing that?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, great. You can stay off. You can stay off. You can keep your mic open and just turn down the volume on the other device, and then we can continue to talk. So here's the payment is $1,405.73. That's the principal and interest. And what we also learn on this loan, if we're borrowing 237,000 over 30 years, the bank wants $269,062.80 in interest. How fair is that?
And it's not fair, but that's how they get their money.
Yep, that's how they get their money. So, but does that look like is this number 5.9% of this number? It's actually 113.529%. That's what the loan really is. Not 5.9, but 113 and a half. How is that legal? It is legal. Let me show you what you can do about it. You ready?
Yes.
All right. So now on the very first payment, how much money goes to principal?
I know the less. I know I'm not seeing it. Okay, principal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The principal. Okay, the first principal is $240.
How much goes to
And the
interest?
interest is $1,165.25.
So you're working hard to pay this mortgage. Say if this was your mortgage, you just paid your loan down by $240.48, and the bank just charged you $1,165.25 to do it. Is that something you want to keep doing?
No, it's not.
Okay, let me show you what you can do about it. Okay, this is using their timing and their math. Every month that this rolls around, you're going to pay them principal and interest. As you see the payments go down, we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you watch the payments, you see that a little more money goes to principal and a little less money goes to interest each and every time. Are you noticing that as well?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just say we make this first payment in January. We're done. We don't have a payment till February, correct?
Correct.
What would be February's principal payment?
February's principal payment will be the next payment in February will be $241.66.
Do we have to wait till February to give the bank that money if we had it?
No, you don't.
Could we give it to them in January?
Yes, you could.
If we instruct them to apply it to principal, will they do it?
Yes, they will.
And will we be paid down to line 2 in January?
Will you be paid down to line 2? You will be paid down to line 2, yes.
Exactly. And so that means our next mortgage payment for February would actually be on line 3 of the schedule, correct?
Yes.
All right. So guess what just happened? For $241.66, you just eliminated line 2 from this mortgage. You just turned 360 payments into 359 monthly payments for only $241.66. And this $1,164.07 on line 2 interest cost, what happened to that?
It decreased.
Most people think so, but it actually went away. You just saved yourself $1,164.07 you never have to pay because you gave the bank the $241.66 early.
Oh, okay. I see now. Wow. So that's how it works.
Yes.
Okay. Because I knew for every extra payment, I think you take about 5 years off, right?
Well, no. Well, what people commonly believe is that if you make 13 payments a year by making like a biweekly payment program, you could save up to 7 years. You can turn a 30-year loan into a 23-year loan by making 13 payments a year by using the biweekly payment system. But with the P.I.L.L method, you can actually be done in about 7 years, saving 23.
So the method is, I see how you did it because I see how you highlighted it. So it is completely erase the interest. That's very smart.
Isn't that? How about
Yes.
that? So watch this one. Watch this one. Let's say you have a little money in the bank and you're paying, you make your regular mortgage payment and you're looking at the principal payments. You come up with an extra 241 on line 2, 242, and 244. A little over, what that's 600, a little over $700.
Okay.
And which is sitting in your bank account, maybe making 1/10 of 1%. You apply that to principal. And what happens to these 3 interest payments?
Wow, they just go away.
They just go away. And since you use 2, 3, and 4, your next mortgage payment for February is on what line of the schedule?
You gotta tell me.
Line
So
5.
there's knock out 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Now we on line 5.
You're on line 5, but you're on line 5, but in month 2. How you like that?
Wow,
Those
amazing.
apples. Okay.
Amazing.
I'm going to show you one more and we'll be done. Okay. This is just for you to understand how the mortgage process works and what the banks are not telling us and what people could be learning in high school. Okay. But we're not taught this. So it wasn't that you weren't paying attention in class, Miss Judah. There was no class.
True.
It's not being taught anywhere. Not even on YouTube. This is the only place on YouTube that this is being taught. Isn't that something?
Yes, it is.
Okay, watch this. Now, in 1 year, I need you to look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. That's column 3 and column 4. Cumulative principal and cumulative interest. In 1 year, you're looking at cumulative principal, we would pay this loan down by $2,965.07, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So here's my question to you. How much interest does the bank want in that same period of time?
$2,965.07.
That's the principal to pay it down. But how much interest will the bank collect in 1 year?
$13,903.69.
Should it cost 13 grand just to pay your mortgage down by 3 grand?
No, it does not. It shouldn't.
Let's see what we could do about that. Now, here's my next question. I know I'm going to have to give the bank back this money, the $29.65. I know I have to give them at least that much to keep the house. Okay. But do I have to pay it in 12 monthly installments?
No, you don't.
If I had it, could I give it to them all at once on line 1?
Yes, you could.
Will I be paid down to line 12 in just 1 month?
Yes, you would.
What would happen to all the interest payments between line 2 and line 12?
They would no longer exist because we already paid off the mortgage that was needed.
I get so excited when I do this. And so, listen, we just saved ourselves $12,751.77 in interest, meaning instead of $13,009 to get to this point, it only cost us the interest on line 1, $1,165.25 to do the exact same thing the bank wanted us to charge us almost $14,000 for.
Oh, wow.
How does that make you feel?
So if you have the money to pay off your mortgage 1, 2, 3, 6 months ahead, it's a benefit for you to do that.
Not necessarily. Now we're talking about something else. Now there's a point at which now you're talking about, are we violating the law of diminished return? Because we don't want just to save some interest. You want to save the most amount of interest per dollar applied. Okay. Can I tell you a little story?
Yes.
Okay. Every now and then my wife makes zucchini bread. She just made some last week. Okay. Every now and then she makes zucchini bread. And when she does, she puts in golden raisins. Because, I kind of like the golden raisins. Okay. So she's getting everything ready. She's got the oven warming up. She's doing her thing. She's grating up the zucchini and making up the batter and everything, and looks into the pantry. And guess what?
What?
No golden raisins. So who gets to go to the store?
You do.
Well, listen, you didn't hesitate at all. not even for a beat did you hesitate. Nobody ever gets that question wrong. So here we go. I'm going out the door to go to the store. She says, bring me back 2 boxes of golden raisins. I said, okay. But I get to the store and I get confused because I know what brand she wants But the golden raisins come in two separate sizes. There's a 12-ounce box and an 18-ounce box at two different prices. How do I know which box to get that will give me the better value? How do I know which one to buy?
You look at the one that's what is it called? The have the bigger ounces on it. The more ounces,
Okay.
the more in the box.
Okay.
The bigger ounces in the box.
So that's called the unit cost. I can figure out how much it's costing me per ounce, and I'll know which box to buy.
Yes.
All right. So if I can get those raisins at 6 cents, at 3 cents an ounce, let's say, should I be paying 6 cents an ounce for the same raisin buying the wrong box?
No, you shouldn't.
That's right. Now watch this. Do you have a calculator handy?
I do on my phone.
Okay. So what we need to do is, if you can, without messing up anything, we're going to show you. In fact, I can put it on the screen here. I can put a calculator on the screen. And let's just say you have plenty of money in the bank. Okay. You got plenty of money in the bank. And I'm only going to give you two choices to prepay this loan: line 12 or line 24. You can prepay $2,965 and knock off 12 payments and the interest saved, or you could prepay $6,000, $6,100 here on line 24 and knock out 24 payments and the interest on that line. So if you have plenty of money, which one would you choose?
Oh man. If I have plenty of money, which one would I?
Mm-hmm. Line 12 or line 24?
I will go down to line 24.
Why is that?
Because it's saving me money on the interest, is knocking out these extra payments.
There you go. So now let me show you what the bank is not telling you and where they pick up extra money. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take the $13,000. Here's my interest save, $13,000. Okay. And I'm going to put that in my calculator, 13,903.69. But I'm going to pay $29,6507 to get the savings. If I divide it by the $29,6507, that will give me my unit cost, or how much interest I'm saving per dollar. The same way we figured out how to buy the raisins, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to divide it by $29,6507. And I get $4.689. And in banking, they round that up to $4.69. So I just found out per dollar, I can save $4.69 in interest. That is valuable to know, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
In fact, if I asked you, if you gave me $1 and I gave you back $4.69, how many times would you do that?
As many times as I can.
The bank has to do the same thing. You give them an extra dollar on principal, it makes it impossible for them to charge you $4.69. Wow, per dollar. Okay, now let's do line 24. I'm going to put in the 27,000. Now remember, it was $4.69 we were saving, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wrote it down. So we're putting in 27,627.61. Okay, and we're going to divide that by 6,109.91. And that equals what? $4.52. So, Miss Judah, if I can save $4.69 per dollar, should I ever accept $4.52 per dollar?
No.
There's a point at which more becomes too much. You want the right amount of your money going to the right loan in the right month on the right day of the month, so you can maximize your interest savings per dollar each time you do this.
Okay.
And that's what our program does. Would you like to know more about how we do all of this magic?
Yes, I do.
Well, it's not magic. It's really just math. But our computers do all the math. So if you would go to and look at our link up above, you clicked on it before, you can see a button there that says get a savings and earnings report. When you click on ice10k.com, and you could get a savings and earnings report. You follow all the directions, and that will let you into our financial form. You fill out the form. And then somebody from my staff will set up a consultation for you, and you can know the month, day, and year you'll be debt free. It's usually within a 7 to 9 year window. Some people out of debt a little faster, some take a little longer than 9 years, but it's usually right in that window. All right. You can know how much interest you can save and being out of debt in a very short time without refinancing and without sacrificing lifestyle. You can live very well while you're doing it. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to learn and to know. I'm going to actually do that now because that's why I came in the room when I seen the title. I had a house in New York City in Queens. The tenants don't want to pay me, so I had to go to an investor. But the investor didn't take this house out of my name yet. But I now own a house, so I'm in contract with a house upstate New York. And the house is $300,000, but I have to use an investor loan. So my interest rate is extremely high. It's about 7.3 because they're not going to calculate the house that I have in Queens because I won't be able to apply for a regular loan because I have a house over here in Queens and it's, the houses in New York City is very expensive. Right. So I don't want to pay so much in interest. 7.2 is a lot. Well, 7.3 is a 7.2 something. So it's close to 7.3.
I'm going to show you one. I'm going to show you one other thing. Okay. Do you see at the 5.9% interest rate, our principal payments start out at $240 and $241. Okay. When you lower the interest rate, I'm going to show you here, by lowering the interest rate from 5.9 to 5.575. Okay. Now on your screen, it takes there's a little bit of a lag. All right. But I'm lowering the interest rate to 5.575 for the same loan. You can see that the principal payments shoot up to $255, $256 instead of the $244. In fact, I'm going to do the same loan. Okay. Duplicate tab. I'm going to do the same loan at 7. You said 7 point what?
7.3 is my loan.
Okay. 7.3. All right. 7.3. We're going to do the same loan at 7.3. Okay.
And the principal is $290.
Okay. We might as well change it to your loan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. $290,000, 7.3. Watch this. Look at your principal payments. Wait till it shows up. And you'll be able to see your principal payments are down to what?
Let me see it. My principal payments is down to, okay. Let's see. The first one you have is $233.99.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's 223.
223? Oh, 223.
223. Yeah. So the higher the interest rate, the smaller the principal payment. So we actually attack the loan with the principal payments, don't we?
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I didn't know that's how they did that.
Well, listen, nobody does. And the bank won't tell you. That's why we exist. So if I take this same loan, okay, and they offer me, okay, I'm going to duplicate this tab again. If they offer me the same loan at 5% interest, okay, boom, we're taking that out. At 5% interest, now look at my principal payments. Wait till it changes. And your principal payments go to what? It's amazing.
Oh, wow. Up by $100 almost.
Yes. So now when I'm trying to attack this loan, it's harder to pay the loan off faster and cheaper.
Wow.
So you want the
Like a
right
witchcraft they do.
you want the right interest rate for you. We can help you to figure out what's the right interest rate for you. I don't want the highest interest rate. I don't want the lowest interest rate. I want the right interest rate for my financial situation. And that takes a lot of math to figure out. And we help you to figure that out so that when you're paying this loan off, you can save the maximum amount of interest per dollar applied for you. Because our program is specifically designed for the individual.
Okay, yes, it makes. I'm gonna definitely join. And another question, I have to
Yes.
put 25% down, so that's a lot of money to me.
Right.
Should I have to put that much money down?
Well, if it's a business purpose loan, generally yes. Okay. But if you can get another type of loan, okay, where you don't have to do that, then never put a large payment down if you don't have to.
Should
Okay.
I do what is it called? A line of credit? Because I could take out a line of credit instead of putting down my own money. Should I do it like that? Is it better to do that way?
Well, listen, so we're kind of mixing metaphors here, but we're talking about getting into the loan. Okay.
Okay.
And the thing is if there are loans out there that I can get, okay, that would require me to put something down like 3 to 10% down rather than the 25% down. Because you're in the situation that you're in, going to a traditional bank because your debt to income ratio may be a little high for them. So you're going to where you can go to get into a deal where it makes money. Here's my question to you. Does your deal make you money?
Does it make me money? It will make me money.
Okay.
Yes.
It will make you money. So if your deal's making you money, then go ahead and make the money. And then we'll show you how to maximize your interest savings while you're making money. All right. And then you get your equity cheaper and faster. But watch this. If you had the option, and right now you don't, but if you had the option, should you put $25,000 down? Okay. We're at 7. I'm going to go back to the 7.3%. Okay. Let me show you. We're back here. Go ahead.
25. It's 25% down of the 290.
Okay, 25% down. Okay. All right, 290. All right. Thank you for the correction. Okay. So we're going to put 290,000 in. Okay. 290,000 times 25% times 25% and equals $72,000. Okay. Now, what if you could put down less? All right.
Yes.
You didn't have to put down 72 grand. But you still had the the rest of the 72 grand available. Let's just say for time's sake, let's just say you could get in for 0% down. That would mean you'd have 72.5 that you would have put down that you didn't have to put down, correct?
Yes.
Can I show you what $72,000 would do to this loan if you applied it to principal?
Okay.
Okay, in the first year, how much principal do we pay down?
Wow, so much.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so much the way that number is.
Cumulative principal. Look at the column 3. How much principal do we pay down in the first year?
I can't see it. It's getting blurry.
Hasn't changed. It's $2,779. But I'm going to show you what we're going to scroll down to $72,500. And if you save that money back and apply it to this loan, you knock off almost 15 years off this loan by applying that money to principal instead of using it as a down payment and starting out at payment number 1. You start out at payment number 180 on this schedule by using that money as a prepayment instead of a down payment. Never, ever, ever, ever put a large down payment on a loan if you don't have to. Use it as a payment to principal and knock years off and save thousands of dollars in interest. In this case, we're saving about $283,000 in interest by applying it to principal instead of making a down payment. And we save that in the first month.
Wow. So my question is this then: if I pay the down payment instead of the mortgage being $290,000, then we do 290,000 minus 72,000, so we'll make it closer to like maybe 217,000. So is that a good thing?
Right. Well, see, here's the thing: is that if you're there, all right, we're going to make the best out of the situation. If I had a choice between the two, and which you don't, okay, but if I had a choice between the two, I wouldn't put anything down. I would put as little down as I possibly could, if I had a choice. But in this case, you don't. You see what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Because of the type of loan that you're using. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to know more about this, listen, get a hold of us and ask for me specifically, because I'm a little bit more familiar with your situation. All right. Once you talk to one of my assistants and they set you up for a consultation, ask for me specifically, and then we can go over your numbers again, and then I can give you a little bit more advice as to how all of this works in your favor as a real estate investor. How's that sound?
Okay, thank you. I'm really not an investor, but that's the loan I have to get because of the situation.
Oh, is that you're living in that? Are you going to be living in the house?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and forth from New York City to upstate because I retired.
Okay.
I retired in June.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, let's talk about and see how you can get yourself an FHA loan. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. And do you have a FHA loan on the other house?
No, it's a conventional loan.
Okay. So let's see how we can get you an FHA loan where you are. Okay. And see what we have to do to get your debt to income ratio in order, so you can get a loan where you can pay a smaller amount down.
Okay.
Okay. We got some people in the area that might be able to help you with that.
Okay, I have a question. I'm on the link right now. What do I click to put my information in?
You click on, do you see where it says get a savings and earnings report number 3?
Step number 3. No, I don't.
Okay, hold on for a second. Maybe it's step number 2. I'm not looking at it right now, but I'm going in there to take a look. It's step number 2, get the savings and earnings report. I showed you. I'm sorry. I told you. Well, step number 1 is get my book. Step number 2, get a savings and earnings report. Do you see it?
Yes, I do.
When you click that, it'll take you to my website.
Okay, thank you.
You are so welcome. Are you complete?
Yes, I'm just going to fill out the information and I'm going to go on mute. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Folks, listen, not just Miss Judah is going to do this. Not other people have saved money, but we have actual celebrities that have taken advantage of this information prior to this. And I want to share with you what E.T., the hip hop preacher, had to say about this program. You've heard him before. Dr. Eric Thomas, if you're into motivational speakers, he's the #1 motivational speaker on the planet. Let's hear what Dr. Eric Thomas has to say about the P.I.L.L method. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to PILLmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today. All right, folks, listen, we've got some questions online and we got some questions in the chat on Clubhouse. And so let's handle some of those questions. Selma, Patricia asked, maybe this has been asked before and I've apologized for, so don't worry about that. Are there loans that don't allow this type of payment strategy, or does this apply to any conventional loan? Listen, there are in the US, I have yet in 16 years run into a prepayment penalty on a residential loan. I don't see it. There are prepayment penalties on commercial loans. But here's the thing. I need you to if you're thinking about that, change the word from penalty to cost. There's a prepayment cost. So when you ask that question, this is, what is my cost to prepay? And then when they tell you, says, I want to prepay this amount. Then they said, well, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars to prepay. What would make it worth the cost? How much interest you would save. So in this case, if I wanted to prepay, let me go on this particular mortgage. Let's say if I wanted to prepay about $24,000, knock off 84 payments and save 142 grand in interest. And you charge me, $2,000 as a prepayment penalty to save 142,000. Is that going to bother me? It only bothers us if we don't know by what we're getting when we prepay. When we prepay and we know what we're going to get for it, then you give me a charge for that, then I can make up my mind as to whether I want to do that or not. Because we did that in Canada. Canada has prepayment penalties on residential properties. So does Bermuda. Bermuda has prepayment penalties on a lot of their residential mortgages. And I pointed this out in Bermuda because I had some information from Bermuda Bank at the time. I think it's changed names by now. But anyway, so when we were looking at this, we did this thing for a client in Canada. We showed that by prepaying, they were going to save $100,000 in interest. Okay, if they were prepaying a certain amount, they're going to save $100,000 in interest. At their particular bank's website, there's a calculator that you can use to figure out how much your penalty is to prepay that amount. Here's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you how much interest you save when you prepay. They just tell you what the penalty is. The penalty to put this amount of money on to save $100,000 in interest, $1,200 was the penalty. $1,200. If all I know is you're going to charge me an extra $1,200 to prepay, then I'm looking at the $1,200. I want to avoid penalties, and so I don't pay. In other words, I'm opting to pay $100,000 extra in interest that I don't need to pay by avoiding $1,200 in penalties. When we know everything we need to know about the loan, we can make better decisions. Folks, does that make sense? Ms. Selma, I hope you that made sense to you. But for the most part, on residential properties, there's nothing to prevent you from using this strategy. In fact, it is written on your mortgage note page. If you pull out your papers, it says that you have the right to prepay this loan. In fact, if you have the money, you can make one payment and pay the whole thing off the next day. You have the right to pay it all off at any time. You have the right to prepay any amount extra that you want. In fact, most websites actually have a line on their website where you could put the money to prepay principal. It's part of the contract. It is just as strong. You want to know how strong that is in your contract? Let me tell you how strong that is. Miss 3 payments, and you'll see how strong the contract is. If it's strong for them, it's strong for you too. All right. So let me see what else I've got. Apple's. Okay. Educator. Okay. Master's with education. So she's striving. Is it best to pay more on my current principal if I plan to sell and buy another house in 3 years? That is an excellent question. Excellent question. So let me use this one here. And I've got this loan here. All right. It's at 290,000 at 7.3. Do you realize the interest rates are over 7% now? So this is perfect. This is perfect. In 3 years on this loan, I will pay this loan down by $8,984.50. It will cost me $62,000 in interest in 3 years. Okay, Apples. Do you see what? I hope this makes sense. In 3 years, even if I plan to pay it off in 3 years, okay, I mean sell the house in 3 years, I'm making payments, just the regular payments. I'm only creating about $9,000 in equity, but it's going to cost me $62,000 to get it. So if I'm going to sell it in 3 years, does it make sense to prepay so I can get more equity faster and cheaper? So when it comes time to sell it, maybe in 3 years, I can get $20,000 out of it at maybe it will cost me about $10,000 in interest. That's what we do. How do I get more equity at a much lower interest cost in the time I'm going to keep the loan, even if it's for 3 to 5 years? Does it make sense? See, we're not paying off the mortgage fast here, folks. That is not the focus of the P.I.L.L method. Stop trying to pay your loans off fast. What you want to do is pay your loans off cheap. How do I get more money at a cheaper cost? Listen, that's why I go to Costco. That's why I go to Sam's Club. That's why I get it off of Amazon. So I can get whatever I'm buying, I can get it at a better cost. What we haven't been taught to do is how to get our money at a better cost. Oh my goodness. Ms. Apple, I hope that helps you. Let me see if there's any other questions here. All right. Somebody asked, where can I see this? You can see it on YouTube. You can see it on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. Just go to one of those 4, search P.I.L.L method, and you'll find our live. Or you can go to ice10k.com and choose the button that says watch us live. Okay. And let me see here. I think I got all the questions on Clubhouse. Let me take a look at online here. We've got something coming in from YouTube, and let me see here. Okay. Facebook says great info. Definitely about to get the book. Thank you very much for getting the book. Facebook said, Miss Latrice says, wow. All right. And let's see. James Reed has a question here. I saw one of your videos. All right. James Reed says, I saw one of your videos and you said that paying your car payment by the week is much better and cheaper. If the payment is $400 a month and you pay $100 a week, is not the interest included in the weekly payment? Yes, it is. Now, here's how that works, James. On a car payment, which is different from the mortgage payment, on the car payment, the bank is actually figuring out every single month your daily interest. So you're paying, if you wait and pay your car payment every month, they get to charge you 30 days worth of interest. Okay, you follow, guys, so far? Every day there's an interest amount, and then for 30 days they will add up all the interest that you need to pay, and some of that money goes to interest and some of it goes to principal. Now, here's what you're doing when you're paying every week. You take, instead of paying $400 a month, you pay $100 a week. Now, this does not work on mortgages, folks, so don't ask me. Mortgages only accept full payments before you can put any money on principal. But a car payment can, and only if your institution will accept weekly payments. Not all of them do. So find out for sure. So if I put $100 on this week, then I pay a week's worth of interest, and I'm bringing down the principal payment. Now, because I brought the principal payment down, now they have to start the calculation all over again on a lesser amount. So I do it again for another week on a lesser amount, which means I'm going to pay less interest this week than I paid last week. So more of my $100 will go to principal. I do it a third week and a fourth week out of my, and if I keep doing that, I bring down the principal payment throughout the month, and I pay a little less interest each and every time. So more of my $400 would go to principal and less would go to interest because I'm paying it weekly. That is how interest cancellation works. How can I use the same amount of money and disrupt the bank's timing and pay less interest with the same amount of money? That's just one way of explaining interest cancellation. I hope that answers your question, James. Are there any other questions on here? All right, folks, I think that takes care of the questions in the chat. If I missed your question on Clubhouse, go ahead. What you can do is, instead of retyping it, you can hold your finger on your question, copy it, and paste it back into where it says something to say. And you don't have to type the whole thing, and it'll bring your question up to the top, and I can get that if I missed it. So folks, listen, has this been beneficial? If this has been beneficial to you, put a number 9 in the chat, put a number 9 on comments if this has been beneficial to you. Oh my goodness, folks. Do you know I absolutely love giving out this information, especially when people finally get it. And not only that, but now they're telling other folks that they see a situation that no one else can see. And they're saying, you need to talk to the P.I.L.L method people about the situation because you're getting ready to cost yourself more money than you need to pay. Okay. It says, I think we just got another question online. That's what my engineer says. Okay, let me go back. Okay. All right. Just got another question online. Let's see. Let me see here. Danielle. All right. My bank told me. Okay. Let's see, Talik. What you could do is when those questions come up, put a star on them, and then that way it will, there you go. That way I can see it for sure. And find it easy. All right. My bank told me that I need to tell them to pay principal when I send my payment, regardless of how often. How is that calculated? Well, it's calculated the same way. You just have to, they want to know, my guess is that you escrow your payment, meaning some of your money that you're paying on your payment goes to taxes and insurance, and they're putting that money in an account for you. What they want you to do is let them know that any extra money you send them, that you want it applied to principal, because the default is, I don't know why this is, folks, but the default is take the money and put it in your escrow account. That's the default. Why shouldn't the default be putting the extra money on the principal payment? But that's not their default. Their default is to put it in the escrow account. So that's why they're asking you to do that. It's calculated the exact same way, based on how much of their money you still have. You're going to pay a certain amount of interest. Now, I'm going to get into this a little deeper and show you, folks, how the interest is calculated each month on these loans and why it is so expensive. Since Danielle asked that. Danielle, would you like to see how the bank turns a 7.3% interest rate into 146.806%? You want to see how they make it so doggone expensive? If you all want to see that, if you want to see how expensive, put a number 1 in the chat. Put a number 1 in the chat if you want to see how the bank actually calculates this interest. She said yes. All right. Put a number 1 in, folks, if you want to see. Well, listen, Danielle says that's enough for me. Okay. Okay. I got some other folks. We're going to show you how it's done. Okay. Watch this. This is how it's done. I used to think that if I had an interest rate, they were taking how much I owe and then somehow multiplying it by the interest rate, and that comes up with the payment somehow. But if I did that, the amount of interest that I would pay would be a lot less. I would be taking 7.3% of $290,000. Okay, let me show you what's really going on behind the scenes that most people don't know. Okay, watch this. So we're going to bring up my calculator here, put that on the screen. Okay, now, whenever the bank has the principal balance, this is how they calculate it when you know what your interest rate is. And in this case, the interest rate is 7.3%. So we're going to take our 7.3, okay, turn it into a percent, okay, 7.3%, which is 0.073. So we're putting it in our calculator as a percentage, 0.073. Then we take the 0.073 and divide it by 12. And we get 0.00608 and a bunch of threes. They take that number and multiply it by the unpaid balance. So let's take that. So we have a principal balance on line 1 here. And it says, Miss App says, what screen are you looking at? Okay, she'd like to see. If you can go to a separate device, all right? This is on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. You can see this example. So you can go to any one of those platforms and search P.I.L.L method, and it will take you to this screen. All right. Plus, you can see the replays there. Okay. Watch this. Okay. So I just took the 1/12 of the interest rate. Okay. 1/12. I took the interest rate and divided it by 12, and I got 0.00608333333. Okay. And now we're going to multiply it by the unpaid balance on line 1. That's $289,776.01. Okay, watch this. Watch this. So I'm going to multiply it by 289,776.01. Okay, that equals 1,762.80. If you look here on line 2, you'll see 1,762.80. Okay, folks, that is the end of our show. I need to point out here. So by doing this every single month for 360 months, it is not one mortgage. By doing it this way, they create 360 separate mortgages. That's why it is so doggone expensive, because the next month, instead of charging you $1,762.80, the next month, they're going to charge you $1,761.43, almost as much, because they're doing it in this way. That's what makes it so expensive. But guess what? the same thing that makes it so expensive, if you know what to do, you can save at the same rate they're charging you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for being in. Follow this club, follow this fantastic club that allowed us to be in here, the Mortgage Syndicate. Go ahead and click the green mansion at the top. Join the Mortgage Syndicate Club. Go ahead and then click my bio, and you can also join the P.I.L.L Method Club. We're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas one more time, and we're going to let everybody go online. But folks, I'm going to be right back here on Wednesday. Everybody online, we have to say goodbye to you now. But if you're on Clubhouse, hang out for just a few more minutes. All right, let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas and see everybody on Wednesday. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, and our team created the most powerful money management, wealth building, debt elimination system ever created. At our recent seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, the keynote speech was delivered by the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas. E.T., as he's also known, mentioned he paid off his mortgage in 4 years using the P.I.L.L Method. I invite you to watch and listen.
Listen to me, y'all. One of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Did you hear that? No mortgage, no stress. If you would like to become debt and mortgage free within an average of 7 to 9 years by cutting your interest costs by up to 75%, go to pillmethod.com and request a savings and earnings report today.